All right, hey, welcome everyone. April 30th, last week or last day of April.
Time's gone fast, hasn't it?
Time has gone really, really fast. Let me just make sure our sound's working. Yeah, it is. Okay. Let me just switch over to the other screen just so people don't have to look at my ugly face. All right. We've had since last week. Sorry, welcome to the Gravity live stream.
Oh, yeah.
Is what I should say. We're the Rogue Traders. And, hey, this is the weekly live stream where we talk about the trades we've done, what we think's going on, what we're going to do, things we're trading, and not just Bitcoin centric anymore because well, we trade everything, but now the Gravity has other options or other products. There's always plenty to talk about. So I just finished having a choking episode, so I'm still recovering from that. All right, so let's talk about Bitcoin first and foremost. So what, 30th today, so last week was what, 23rd?
23rd, yeah. So we've done nothing.
And what did we say? We said, well, we expect this thing to keep going up, but probably as a grind. But we're just as likely to come back down. But we thought we'd go to the low 70s. And the reason we thought that was when we're looking at the liquidity heat map. And we'd made a good run up. So it seemed reasonable that there'd be a pullback. The trad markets had made a massive run up for like 2 weeks straight. So it seemed reasonable they'd have a pullback too. And things did pull back, but not a lot. I mean, it's really not a big deal. It's just kind of farting around. It didn't move more than a few $1,000s in total.
Yeah.
Over the course of a week. So, not really a lot to talk about. We don't have any positions left. We sold, well, I think even last week we'd sold our Tesla. We had a little bit of Bitcoin left. And what did we say? We said, well, if we pull back, we're going to put a trigger stop order in to take profit. The last $700 of profit or whatever it was. And we're looking to reload lower. No, I haven't reloaded. I was actually kind of hoping for more like a low 70s, high 60s, and that might still happen.
Could happen, yeah.
Other than that, all we have is a little bit of your PAX G, the gold.
Yeah.
Not too much left. It's down about $100, $150, $120. Not really doing a heck of a lot. We can take a quick look at that just to see. Climb back up a little bit. You can see our position is at 4,700. That's our average price. I probably should have been averaging into that a little bit more, actually.
Yeah, I think for the rest of the year, gold's probably a buy still. I'm certain gold's a buy, but timing is everything, right? And of course, we should have been shoveling in at 4,200, but here we are at 46, and at the moment it kind of feels like we're down, but actually I think it's still cheap.
The problem with gold to me is that I remember when I started in the 90s working at a brokerage, and there are people who are gold crazy. And I remember at that time, people were calling in. There was a spike in gold that went up. I don't even remember the price at the time. And then for decades, those poor bastards just sat there and just, no, gold, I swear to God, gold, and did nothing. And they wasted their lives and their money. And now I'm not saying that that's going to happen again.
No.
We're in a different political situation, and currencies are grossly devalued and just watered down to nothing. But hey, what else is new? That's what governments do. Governments will destroy themselves, all of them, eventually, through currency debasement. And gold is going to have a place. But the point I'm trying to make is I'm not trying to poo-poo on gold bugs. I'm just trying to say that gold, in my experience, when I think about it, has these periods of extreme volatility, and then it does nothing for can be a long time.
Yeah, I know, decades. And I think we're in one of those periods of extreme volatility, and the reason is the change in balance of financial power in the world between East and West. And I don't know whether to go long on the US or go long on China or neither or both. But I do know that if I don't know what to do, then I buy gold bars because I know that both of them will use them, and in particular China and the BRICS world value gold. So it's for me it's like it's a way of not being in currencies and therefore not having my asset value deflated without making a decision on currencies.
I saw an article yesterday, and the headline caught my eye, and it was about the Fort Knox gold. And I know there hasn't been a proper audit done well, maybe ever. But what they were talking about was, see, I'm still choking.
Yeah.
What they were talking about was how the vast majority of it is very impure and not fit for international settlement.
Yeah, they'd have to reassay it and recast it as to in
Yep.
LVMA bars. Yeah, I mean that's
And France just basically dumped a bunch of their stuff and kept the pure stuff in France. They're not taking it out of Fort Knox or
they've
New
sold their
York or
they
whatever.
sold their gold into cash and then bought gold again in the markets, right?
Yeah, yeah,
Yeah, I think there's this gradual. Well, I mean France hasn't trusted the US since 1973 when the gold window was closed. When Mitterrand was it Mitterrand or Charles de Gaulle wanted to um, redeem France's gold. They wanted to redeem their dollars into gold,
oh,
and then Nixon closed the gold window. That was in 70, I think it was 73.
mm,
And so there's been this massive distrust of the US ever since then
yeah,
by France. So I think France have been right. Germany have repatriated their gold from the US. So there's this whole issue of trust, and that's not good for financial markets because the US has always been seen as a trustworthy place.
yeah. Well, even Americans don't trust the government because the governments, of course, took their gold.
Yes, quite.
And they paid them what, $20 an ounce or something for it, or
Yeah, there was
whatever it
there
was
was there was actually also mandatory sales to the government in the UK.
Oh, was there?
Prior to World War II, to pay for it. Or just
yeah.
after, sorry, just after World War II.
World War, yeah, yeah, yeah.
It wasn't as draconian as the US, but they were strongly encouraged through leverages and mechanisms to give up their gold.
Yeah.
And so never do what your government tells you ever, because they're always trying to enslave you.
Well, all you need to do is look at the general intelligence of most politicians, and that they're freaking narcissists and psychopaths, and they're not qualified to do anything else generally. So here I'm looking at the gold chart when I thought I was looking at Bitcoin. Look, hey, I mean, we're still up. Someone could say, "Well, hang on, Shane, we're still in a uptrend, and we just broke that, and there's the trend line broke." It could be.
Yeah.
We could be that trend line could have broken. Maybe we're gonna head back down, and maybe it's best to not start accumulating again until we're down here, which is 70, 71, 69, 68, 67, 66.
So this is
I'm happy.
this is a midterms year.
Yep.
And in every midterms year so far in the history of Bitcoin, which isn't very long, the correct play has been to sell in May.
To sell in May.
Yeah,
Okay.
sell in May, go away,
Sell in May, go away.
and go buy back again in November.
Okay. And for me, I generally don't like to short Bitcoin.
No.
I would rather sell calls or buy puts versus shorting the actual asset. So what I would do is if I'm only trading Bitcoin, I'd probably just wait for opportunities to buy it, and maybe that could be weeks or a month away. But for those who are, I'm not going to say braver, but just more in tune and more focusing on Bitcoin every day, I mean, yeah, absolutely short it. And if you wanted to, and put your stops and just trade responsibly. And
I think if you were to
There you
short
go.
here, I'm famous for my very definite statements about Bitcoin.
Yeah.
Right?
How often have you been right about them?
Well, so
Wh-
far,
when
well,
did you-
my big statement was that we won't see the all-time high again for 4 years.
Oh, yes, I remember
And
that.
so far I'm right, but we're only 7 months in.
Yeah, yeah.
I've been right for 7 months now.
All right, excellent.
And I think I said something about us not seeing 90s or something, but I'm hazy about that. What my statement now is, if you short Bitcoin now, you might have some uncomfortable days, but I think you'll win.
Okay. And do you have a bottom in mind, like just kind of back down to
Well,
previous lows around this area in the mid 60s?
One number I've seen touted through all the various voodoo analysis that people do is actually 46k.
46. Okay.
Yeah.
I mean, these were numbers that were being thrown around when we had this big crapola over on this
Well,
side,
because
right?
people get forgetful, right? Traders have a memory of about 3 days, or maybe a week at max, right?
Yeah,
So,
yeah.
do you remember how terrified we all were back in at the end of February?
Yeah.
And we're not terrified anymore. Well, that obviously means that the markets are conspiring to do you, right? So you're going to get all confident about this rally, and suddenly there's going to be another 15% drawdown, and then you'll be, oh no, world's ending,
Bitcoin's going to zero. Yeah,
I didn't listen to Richard, and But having said that, our robot in our fund was short yesterday, and we caught the downtick nicely.
Oh, okay.
And it's gone gently long today,
All right.
which surprised me. I wasn't expecting, because it went super short late last night, and then stayed short all night, and today's suddenly changed its mind, gone long.
Yeah, all right.
So yeah,
That's interesting. Hey, you know what? Our last time we were on the call, I don't think our arrows were showing up, but now I can see here's where we bought, sold, bought, and then sold,
yeah, it's
sold.
impressive. Where
So
you're able to buy at those dips. It's nice
yeah,
work.
yeah, that was good. Yeah,
Yeah,
there's a little luck sometimes involved,
yeah,
but hey, when you stare at screens long enough, you start to get a feel for things.
yeah,
So Bitcoin, what do I expect? Well, I wouldn't be surprised to see it. Honestly, I wouldn't be surprised to go sideways. However,
yeah.
we have seen these grossly inflated markets, grossly inflated. We still got a war going on, or potentially a war.
Yeah.
That's not resolved by any means. So we could be in for some big moves up, big moves down, including the markets. And just because the market is so overbought, um, could there be a pullback in Bitcoin follows it a little bit back down here? Yes, I'm kind of hoping that. If that happens, I'm buying it here.
So
That being said, I just want,
go, yeah, go, yeah,
I'll just say that, oh, the market is so overbought, it must go down.
yeah.
Yeah, right. The market always has different plans
Yeah.
for you, and it will go more than you could have ever imagined. So we could, I think I was saying this to you 2 or 3 days ago, we could be at the top, and we could be at the top, ready for a bear market for a year or two,
Mm.
or we could just be ready for like one of the biggest bull markets we've ever seen. And there's cases to be made on both sides because the markets are rational. We know it gets pumped up on air. We see these ridiculous moves in all kinds of assets.
Mhm.
We see the AI circle jerk continuing. What was the article we saw the other day about open AI? 1.5 trillion that they can never possibly repay.
Oh yeah, that's the commitment. Spending
It's
commitments.
ridiculous.
Yeah, well, that's going to come back to roost.
Something's going to break.
So well, last night they reported earnings on 4 Bank 7 stocks, and actually the PE's ratios of these 4 stocks aren't that high, nowhere near as high as they were in the .com boom.
All right.
Even though everyone feels we're in a bubble, me included, by the way.
I think SanDisk retort.
But the prices went down. I think as a result, the futures prices went down.
Oh.
They sold off. Was it Nvidia and one other?
I didn't
Microsoft?
work last
I
night
think
because I
Microsoft.
had
Yeah,
some stuff.
Microsoft was one that reported.
Yeah.
And I saw this morning on Twitter that the futures were down. So we're sort of in the territory of people selling good news at the moment. There we go, down 2%.
I just didn't see it on the list there. Maybe it was blocked, but yeah, okay. And I just wanted to check out. I can see over on the other screens I've got charting up over there, but I wanted to see the spies. Just to see what
It's
they're
tootling
going on.
about at 712.
Okay, so no big deal. Yeah.
This is really interesting to me that this is the S&P 500 ECF, and it's had a sort of a jump up as a result of that was fictitious news
Yeah.
about the war being ending, right?
Yeah.
And we haven't gone down, and we're now in a situation where it's a Schrodinger's war. Right? It's not on, not on. I think Trump's got like 2 more days before Congress have to give him approval to carry on fighting.
Oh, okay. I didn't know.
By US law. I mean, not that US law has ever been obeyed by these days, but we saw this morning WTI futures, crude futures above 100, Brent crude futures at $120 a barrel. We've still got a massive hole in the supply of oil. National strategic reserves are being drawn down as we speak. And the only reason that oil hasn't gone through the roof is because people have been buying from strategic reserves at essentially suppressed prices. And when oil gets expensive, which I don't see how it can't, because I think we're missing about 7 million barrels a day from supply still, and that isn't going to get fixed even if there's a huge breakout of peace and love between Iran and the US tomorrow. There's still 6 months at least to fix all the supply chain issues from the oil, lack of oil, and that also doesn't just mean oil. That means petrol, diesel, sulfuric acid, plastic, electronics, fertilizer, you name it. And interestingly, we're starting to see prices of foodstuffs go up. So, and I don't think any of this stops. I think we're in for an oil crisis. The closest proxy we had was the 1973 oil crisis.
The oil embargo, yeah.
That didn't actually affect the economy and the stock market until about 3 months after. the outbreak of hostilities,
Mm.
and here we are.
Yeah.
We're 2 months after
Yeah.
the minute. So
So this is crude oil, what I have up right now. And we do have Brent. So this is West Texas Intermediate. We
right,
do have Brent as well, which is
okay.
the BZ
Oh
is
well,
the
114
futures.
last night.
Very very similar. Yeah,
Yeah.
114. Mm-hmm.
So I mean, I know that our trading team has been talking about oil's overpriced. It's going to come crashing down as soon as peace breaks out.
Yeah.
And Wayne in particular is a very, very experienced trader. I completely understand where he is on that. Normally I would bow to his experience, but my feeling is no, it's going to go higher.
You think so? Hey?
Yeah. And as a result, everything else is going to get worse. And
Mm-hmm.
I think we're in a situation where people are afraid of $150 a barrel.
Mm-hmm.
I think actually we'll get there, and no one will feel it. Okay, it's going to cost you an extra, I don't know, $5 to fill your gas tank up, and no one's going to really care in the month that starts to happen. But over time, it starts to bite, and the price of your fertilizer goes up. Farms go bankrupt. We're seeing record bankruptcies, by the way, for farms in the US, particularly in the Midwest.
I saw that report. That's very sad. Yeah.
And
Yeah.
that's because the cost of fertilizer has gone up, and
Sure.
so therefore the cost of
Yeah.
food is going to go up, or there's
Yeah.
going to be a shortage of food, and transport's going to get more difficult, and therefore everything goes up, and therefore input prices into shops have to raise prices, people have to divert stuff from their budgets, and people no longer go on holiday, and everything slows down, right?
Yeah.
So I think there's a case for entering into a bear market. But then we are in the 2020s, where governments just at the flick of a hat, the flick of a switch, just print money and shower it on people. So the terror for shorting markets is, well, they're just going to print money.
Yep. And that's where you said, oh, should I buy China? Should I buy the US? Should I buy them both? Should I sell them?
Right.
You never know, because governments will just change the bloody rules anytime they want. And they're the only ones who have a.
And that's why I'm holding on to my gold through grim death, because I just know some gold always suffers during outbreak of war irrationally, because you can't eat gold. You can't put gold into a tank's fuel tank, right?
Mm-hmm.
But when the war's finished, and they're just going to print money to rebuild everything. To rebuild public confidence,
and that's why I think that there could be one of the biggest bull markets we ever see in the United States, is because there's going to be a massive boom. Think Caterpillar, think defense stocks, think construction. Rebuilding. Never mind Ukraine. When that ends, it's going to be massive. There's going to be trillions of dollars flowing in there, and all these, everyone's going to have their hand out. All these companies are going to have. All the politicians are going to be doing backdoor deals to line their own pockets, as for bloody usual. That's the way it goes, and there's going to be a huge boom.
Talking of which, I don't know whether they got it on Gravity. Halliburton.
I don't remember.
I did own Halliburton, but I sold calls on it, and then had my stock taken off them.
No.
That's a massive reconstruction stock, right? They always get involved in rebuilding after war. They're up to about $40 at the moment. From 32, right? So
okay,
big move.
No Caterpillar either. Gravity's adding stuff all the time, so I have to keep it. I brought up Robinhood just because some people like to trade it, because it's like, it's total degen. It's total pure gambling, and I know they had that big down day.
Well,
yesterday
they brought out some interesting figures, actually, which is relevant to crypto traders, because Robinhood allow you to trade altcoins on their platform as well as stocks. And this year they've seen something like a 30% drop in the trading volumes on altcoins.
Oh, okay.
But they've seen a commensurate increase in the volume of trading on degen stocks in the stock market.
Sure. And that doesn't surprise me, because everybody's left crypto, because everyone's sick and tired of the next big one's going to go 1,000%, going to frickin' zero, one after another.
So now all the degens are trading degen stocks in the stock market, because actually, platforms like Gravity allow it, right? So this is an innovation.
There you go.
But I think it's also worth. You've got to keep your finger on the pulse of the political news of the US, because rug pulls happen in DeFi, and they also happen in TradFi. And they happen bigger in TradFi. And so you've got to watch which senators are buying what stock, what Trump's into, what his families are into, and so on.
Mhm.
There's one I bought recently. Came from a recommendation from Sally. Was MMA. MMA. It's a tiny little stock, right? It's a little gamble. I bought it at 50 cents. It's now 74 cents. Like a week later,
Mm.
2 weeks later.
Nice.
Only because Trump was seen talking to the CEO of
Sure.
MMA at a ringside
Yep.
fight seat,
Yep.
and we know that one of Trump's sons got some business dealing with a guy, and
Yeah.
we're thinking, you know what, there's shady shit going on. It's obviously going to go up, right?
It's become a thing. Whoever Trump's talking to, buy that stock
Exactly.
because it seems like he's easily influenced by things.
Yeah.
I was also going to mention Polymarket too, because Polymarket is coming out with all kinds of different products, and we know they trade like 5-minute perps and all kinds of things.
Yeah.
But they're doing some other things. I'm not encouraging anyone to go over there. That's a completely different animal.
Yeah.
And it's not like this. You know, if I buy Bitcoin here on Gravity, I mean, if it goes against me for a day or two, it's normal. I mean, how often does a stocker instantly go for you? I mean, rarely. Occasionally it does. But there, after 5 minutes, you lose, right?
Yeah.
So
you have to understand, if you're trading in betting markets, you have to understand that what you're actually trading is one-touch options.
One-touch options, exactly, and you see the manipulation is just gross on the platform, and you see it how it's manipulated right as the contract expires. Anyways, we don't want to get into that. So that's Bitcoin. I'm thinking we might just kind of drift down, but it's going to depend. If the markets take off, the war ends. Is the market going to rock and roll?
No.
Or is it already built it in?
I think you should always sell good news.
Yeah.
If the war ends, sell. I think at the moment, while we're in Schrodinger's war, and even when there's low-level conflict, when Americans aren't hugely inconvenienced, I think we can live with the fiction that this is good for the economy and the economy's booming and fine. But the reality about the US economy, and I was there recently, is that everyone who lives in Wall Street and New Jersey and the Hamptons, they think, well, the world is super rosy, making shit tons of money in their stock market. They never feel the real world. They've got housekeepers and stuff, and they have chauffeur-driven cars and never need to use a bus, right? And then there's everybody else in the US who's starving.
Yeah, and having a hard time.
And I actually went on a bus in Miami, and my American friends were horrified. They thought I was risking my life. It was the most entertaining experience of my life, actually. But and I looked around me and I thought, this is just third world abject poverty. Right? And that's the reality of the US economy, which is the engine of the global.
Yeah, and you can even say that people in other countries in Europe are really struggling too. They're really struggling. It's really hard for a lot of people. There was something I wanted to mention about that, but I can't remember it. That's okay.
Actually, but you're right. But half. I mean, we live here in Andorra. Kind of, people call it a tax haven. You do get migration of people here who are looking to have a simpler life and pay less tax. But actually, quite a few of our friends struggling now. And 5 years ago, they were doing fine, right? There's definitely less money about, right?
Yeah, and especially depending on what industry you're in, because everything changes so quickly now.
Yeah.
We need to get into robotics or something.
I was just doing talking to my business partner in the fund about Claude Code.
Okay.
And he was showing me how he can now do the work of 50 software engineers without having to hire any. Now, I used to be a software engineer, and I used to be one of those guys that got paid well for knowing stuff, and my entire history is now irrelevant.
Yeah. And it's the same story for so many people, whether or not you're a software engineer, and that's the big concern. And it's funny because I see two different stories going on. Some people are saying, no, this whole AI thing about taking jobs is completely wrong. It's irrelevant. It's not going to happen. Other people are saying, no, 2030, literally everything's gone. Unless you're an electrician or a plumber, like something physical that AI can't do, which it probably will be able to do soon. Anyways,
have you seen the latest Boston Dynamics robot?
No,
it's literally like a sleek Terminator.
Oh my God!
And it will quite happily wash your dishes or murder you.
Yeah, great. Yeah. Well, I saw the Chinese ones, the ones that were doing all the dancing and kung fu stuff.
They're all pretend. So they had, in China they had this robot marathon.
Yes.
Yeah. Well, most of the ones that won, all the ones that won, were actually radio controlled. They know how to run, but they don't know how to think and navigate.
Sure.
Right. But the Boston Dynamics one is actually a fucking Terminator.
Wow.
And so they are charging $100,000 a unit, so 5 times more than Elon wants to charge for his gay robot. and they're sold out to 2030. You
Wow.
cannot get one.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow.
So these things are going to flood the workplace, and they'll be building your cars. They'll be
Yeah.
cleaning out sludge from nuclear reactors.
Yeah.
They'll be mining. They'll be drilling oil. They'll be plumbing.
Yeah.
So pretty much we'll be reduced to looking awesome.
Yeah, yeah, and I look pretty good, so I'll be okay. But then when it comes down to this UBI argument, and that's a slippery slope because a lot of ways that can go, and it basically now we're all dependent on the government, and our freedom goes out the window, and I don't like it. I don't like it. We need aliens to come and invade.
That's coming soon.
You think so? Yeah.
Trump's just said yesterday he's going to make an announcement soon about aliens.
I saw, yeah, I saw.
So,
but yeah, I don't know if I
but
believe.
I'm not sure that's entirely good.
Anyways.
And I actually don't think the UBI will happen. I think
You don't think so?
no. I think governments will actually figure out that you're just surplus to requirements, and they'll just kill you.
We should call this the depressing show.
Particularly subversives like us.
You stop thinking for yourself, you son of a bitch. Okay. Back to the world of trading.
Yeah.
Hey, and there'll always be a place for traders, even if because right now everything's automated anyways, and you can still, there's tough days, there's tough months, there's tough years, but you can still make a living trading.
Well, Rome kept its population happy for 400 years with bread and gladiators. So
there you go.
So you and me were gladiators of markets.
There we go.
Right.
Maybe we'll get to go to Valhalla. All right. So here's the liquidation heat map.
Yeah.
I don't think we're going to see anything exciting on here, but let's just take a look. This is a 24-hour, blah, blah, boring. What is this up here?
Yeah.
76.5. Okay, whatever.
50 million. I mean, I think that yellow line is probably why my bot is currently week long. It's just saying, you know what?
It's assuming it's going to punch that.
Someone's going to punch that.
Yeah. Okay. So short-term play, maybe today it might punch up to 77 or something. Okay, fine. Let's take a look at the 3-day, 1 week, and then out a month, and then we'll move on past this. Yeah. Kind of similar. 3-day. We've got this little knot up here at 76.5. What? So it's like $500 away.
Yeah.
It's nothing, right? You could sneeze and that would happen, and then nothing.
What's that above 78 then?
This year, this is 78.5.
That's nothing. We've got one tick up, 100 million. Okay, 200. There's 200 million at about 78.5. Okay, I mean,
yep,
that's doable.
Yep. Yeah. Remember, this is 3-day. 3 days. Yeah. So this is the weekend.
Yeah. Well, this is built up. Well, this is built up over the past 24 hours. Actually,
is it Friday? No, it's Thursday.
Thursday. Yeah. So I think that's. Yeah, there's no reason it can't get up there, right?
Yeah, there's not a ton of incentive right now to push it down much more. If it does, it'll just kind of meander, I think. So right now, in the very short term, we're kind of looking at a little move up just to punch that liquidity. Now if we go 1 week,
nothing.
Sort of same thing, nothing. Now let's look 1 month. Oh, get out of my face. Where is it? Here. Slightly more compelling to the downside when we look at a month.
Yeah.
There is liquidity there. There's no big knots, but cumulatively, we probably have, at least a couple $100 million down to around 70. So I could see something like that, but it still looks like the damage would be a push up, scare the bejesus out of everybody. Oh, we're going to 90, and then right back down. And then as soon as that happens, all this stuff is going to roll up.
Yeah.
And we're going to see a lot of that move up into the mid-70s.
Yeah. It actually could go either way looking at that chart, because you've got this uptrend and then followed by this sort of loss of confidence at the top. Now, all it's got to do is one step up to break that loss of confidence, but actually it looks at the moment like it's rolling over. Right?
Yeah. Actually, I wonder if I don't normally look at a 3-month chart, but I'm just kind of wondering how much room above it gives. Like, does it go up to 100K? No, not really.
It'll just it'll go as far as the graph goes.
Yeah. Okay. I was just kind of wondering how far. So, all right. So let's just take a quickly look at what's going on here with immersive. Oh, there it is. At the options side of things, because of course the options leads the market. It directs the market.
Well, so implied at the money vol, out to 1 month has been crushed. We're well below 40%.
37 now.
We're coming down to 30% for the weekend. Vols do get crushed through the weekend because of time dilation, but time compression. But so those vols are getting crushed. So markets not pricing in risk anymore. And then the 25 Delta flies are saying, well, there's no real, the market's not expected to accelerate in any one direction. So if it does move, it'll probably mean revert. That's what they're saying. Risk reversals are mildly negative. They have been mildly negative for the past 18 months because people tend to fear the downside more than the upside these days in Bitcoin. So this is an entirely unremarkable market. This is saying actually complacency, no risk.
And look at this. This one day the 10 delta risk reversal is minus 5%. I think was last week, was it like 8%, and it was a little bit more, and then the week before that was higher. So
the peak was 40 minus 40, and we've come down to minus 20, 10, 15, 10. Yeah, it's just so all of the downside risk is starting to be discounted. There's the residual downside risk priced in, but that's normal these days.
And we don't have to rely on my memory because we can see these orange red lines here as they're coming down. This is the beginning of April. We can see that they're just slowly creeping their way down.
And actually, you can see that there's an inverse correlation between implied vol at the money vol and price.
Here's the price of Bitcoin. It's the blue line, by the way.
And 2 years ago, that correlation was reversed. So two years ago, if markets went up, vol would go up because people would be terrified of the God candle. And they think, we're going to get to $1 million a coin, in 10 minutes. No one fears that. No one fears that anymore. And which is interesting. I'll come to that. But what people are saying is that if the market goes down, people get more fearful. They buy more puts. I guess that's because there are more people in ETFs, and they just tend to be long. And the ETF and fund managers want to hedge their downside risk, just in because nobody wants to have to report a 40% loss to their clients in a month. But as these ETFs keep accumulating Bitcoins and the likes of strategy and all that stuff, remember last year we were talking about the Bitcoins running out because Michael Saylor was buying them all and ETFs were consuming them all. We're no longer talking about that, but it's still happening. And one day, I hate to say it, there could actually be a supply shock, and suddenly Bitcoin does go to the moon, and the markets are totally unprepared for it. I'm beginning to sound like a nut job like Saylor, but it's a distinct possibility because it's very easy for the Bitcoin market to run out of Bitcoins.
That's an interesting point. And you're right. Last year at this time, as we were running up, maybe not this time, but as we were running up through the 70s, 80s, 90s, oh my God, 100K is coming up next. And it went through, it went up to 130, wherever it went to. All that time, there was talk about the God candle. Just one day, all of a sudden, the price will jump 50,000 or 100,000 or whatever. And you're right, that quickly got discounted. Then, of course, it's going to zero. So that's the Bitcoin world. It's completely bipolar. It's either one way or the other.
This takes me back to my other big claim I made 2 years ago, and I stand by it. So I speak sometimes at conferences, and so I'm invited to speak. And I just say whatever comes into my head.
I just make it up as I go, really.
But the one thing I was asked about the price of Bitcoin about 2 years ago. And I said, in my lifetime, and I'm 57 years old.
I remember this.
You will see Bitcoin at $1 million, and you'll see Bitcoin at $0. I still stand by it.
I think I think that's got a good chance of that happening, or at least coming close to it. I mean, maybe Bitcoin, it could go to zero because Bitcoin might all of a sudden have no utility. That's another.
I mean, talk for it's for some definition of zero, right?
The other thing that happened too is this whole Strait of Hormuz thing, and they talked about the Iranians charging tankers, and they're going to charge it in Bitcoin. At that time, it was like, well, hang on, they're not producing enough Bitcoin each day that would cover the charge. So so Bitcoin is subject to these things that you just never thought of. They can happen.
I think they rethought that. I think they went through the same mental process. Wait a minute.
Hang on a second. That's not going to work.
No one's going to pay us.
Bonehead.
So I think that they're now charging in yuan.
Are they? All right.
Well, you could pay in yuan and get through. Which is another interesting nuance in the whole currency shift between East and West.
All right, so I think we're pretty much out of time. We've waffled on long enough, and you know what? There's not.
And I didn't even mention bond yields.
Oh, do you want to talk about bonds?
Briefly, it's worth mentioning. We'd be doing a disservice if we didn't mention it.
Okay.
So the US 20-year and 30-year treasuries are now yielding more than 5%, which is a kind of a pivotal level. That means that a mortgage can now no longer cost less than 7%. And given that any house in the US costs $500,000, then actually living anywhere costs $4,000 a month.
Yeah. Yeah.
which is unaffordable for most normal people.
And people who have been put under financial pressure, maybe they own their home, they're paying a mortgage, or I shouldn't say they have a mortgage on their home, and they negotiated that at 3.5% or 4% or whatever they got,
Mm.
and their income is going down, they're struggling, and when they come to renew, they're jumping to 7, 8% or whatever it's going to be.
Yeah.
That's a big shock if they were barely able to get by, and that's a real sad thing. And
So keep an eye out for housing inventory numbers in the US, mortgage delinquencies, loan delinquencies. All these things matter in Main Street, and they eventually bleed through to Wall Street.
Do you think there's anybody left holding Bitcoin who would say, "Oh my gosh, honey, we can't pay the mortgage. We're going to sell our Bitcoin," and put pressure on it? I don't think there's anything left like that. There's not enough left to influence the price.
The guys I know who still hold Bitcoin would rather lose their wife than lose their Bitcoin.
Well, I think most people would be okay with that. Even for a really good hot dog. Just saying.
So, yeah.
All right. Hey, that's it for today. I think that going forward this week, I'm not doing much. I'm just kind of sitting on my hands. I'm going to buy dips.
Yeah.
If I really think it's going to go down, maybe a little short. But on the option side, I'm happy to sell low delta strangles or iron condors. I'm really happy to do that 10-15 delta. I'm happy to sell those for now.
Yeah.
Especially short dated ones are going to disappear quick. But we're coming into summer soon. In the next few episodes coming up, we'll probably discuss summertime a little bit more as we get oriented towards the summer doldrums. Even with the potential war, those are going to be fighting each other. So steady as she goes in terms of buying. I think that there's more action right now, potentially in some of the other items that Gravity has.
Yeah.
If you want to look at stocks or ETFs, I think there might be more action to keep your eye on these things versus Bitcoin.
Yeah, I think so.
Or split it up. If you only traded Bitcoin before, well, maybe 25% Bitcoin, 25% in something else. And
well, we've got the SpaceX IPO coming up, and the whole interplay with Tesla and Musk and OpenAI. So that'd be an interesting one to watch.
Yeah.
Because Tesla's kind of an emotional proxy with SpaceX, right?
Yeah.
And the other interesting stock is Intel, because that's the favoured son of Trump. They lose money. They've been losing money forever, but the stock price has gone ballistic recently because Trump has the US government bought some.
I
saw it. Yeah.
Why I'm typing but nothing's happening? Oh, it's because I'm looking at ETFs. I have to look at it all.
So that's gone ballistic recently. That's well overpriced unless the US government are going to just shovel money into it. I think, but I don't know whether it carries on going up because it's the favoured son, or whether it comes plummeting down because it's a massively overbought. I suspect if Trump ends up going to prison or something, then
Trump's not going to prison.
That's probably a sell. But
if Ilhan Omar is not going to prison for massive fraud and marrying her brother and all those things, and all the establishment, both sides of the aisle protect her, nothing's happening.
Yeah.
I mean, they might try and kill him again. That seems to be a theme. But the thing I hate trading Intel.
I don't think anyone tried to kill him.
I think
they're
so.
all staged.
I think it did, but
anyway.
But who knows?
Yeah,
we live in this weird bubble matrix that I don't even know what to believe anymore. I was just gonna say I hate trading Intel in general.
Yeah.
It can be a real tough trader because a lot of times it'll just make a move and then just and it really bugs the shit out of me. There's not a lot of mean reversion.
Yeah.
A lot of times you'll think, okay, it's strong. I'm gonna buy a good pullback. It'll pull back and then just go flat until you get bored.
Yeah.
So it can be difficult sometimes in my style.
But I think again, I wanted just to alert all the listeners that this move we've seen is entirely political.
Yes,
nothing to do with Intel being a good chip maker.
But didn't they do some deal they were going to do with SpaceX or that was a week or two ago?
So the US government has decided Intel is a favoured son because it's part of the strategic backbone of the US.
Yeah.
Because the US is going to lose Taiwan sooner or later, and they're going to have a chip maker, and Intel's already there making chips, and so it's being fed all these kind of sweet deals to keep it alive. Right? And I have no idea whether that work or not. So
all right.
Yeah. So by no means a recommendation, but just if you won't be wondering why Intel's been doing this, that's why.
Yeah. So it might be a good one to buy on pullbacks if you're going to hold on to the
Maybe.
stock. I don't know. I don't know much about Intel, like if they throw off dividends. I don't know anything about it. Anyways, any last thoughts on anything before we sign off?
Nope, summer's coming. Enjoy the sun.
Yeah. Yeah.
You're all going to get killed by killer robots anyway, so don't worry too much about losing money. Have fun.
There you go. And with that, we will catch you next Thursday if we survive the robot massacre.
Yeah.
All right. See you later, everyone.